I tell you that time I went down, I looked at the Pentagon like about 6 months after 9/11. I must have told you that story, right? So when I went down to D.C., I mean, I knew, by then you knew that this was a changing moment in history, and it was just like, I wanted to see, like, go over to the Pentagon and see how bad the damage was. So I didn't realize, I was such an idiot, I didn't realize that the Pentagon is like the Pentagon. I thought the Pentagon was also kind of like the Lincoln Memorial, like you could just kind of go to it as a tourist, which you can, but there's like a subway stop and you just get off at the Pentagon, and I'm walking around, there's all these people in like plain clothes, and then you'd see people in like Air Force outfits or Marine outfits. And so I was thinking, all right, they work here, but everybody else in plain clothes is like me. I didn't realize that they all kind of fucking work there, and it's like an office. It's a giant fucking office building in the shape of a Pentagon. So I start looking around, it's basically a circle with points on it, right? That's what a Pentagon is. How many sides to a Pentagon, Bill? Oh, I don't know. It's more than 5. It's a triangle, then there's a hexagon, then there's a proplexagon. I don't know what the fuck it is. And you know what? I knew it when I had to know it for the test, and that's never come up in my life. You know what I mean? You got a quartet, you got a quintet, that's jazz. I'm out of math, I'm into jazz. But isn't music just numbers put together beautifully? Sorry. So I'm standing there in this pointy fucking circle going, do I go to the right? Do I go to the left? I kind of go left, then I go right, then I start walking back left. Then I'm just fucking start walking around this thing. I'm trying to peek around the corner. I'm like, maybe I should have gone the other way. And I'm basically not realizing it. I'm looking shifty as hell. And of course, there's like 50 fucking cameras on me. Like, what the fuck is this dude doing, right? And I'm walking, I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, this fucking... Was it a Jeep or a golf cart? I don't know what. Just pulls up next to me, and this fucking guy gets out. Like, when Powers Booth ever plays a military guy, he was like that with a beret. Like, that's how much he was decorated, it seemed. No, he didn't have all that shit, but he had some shit on his fucking shirt, all right? And he had the beret, and I remember he got out, and he was like... doing that thing, when someone's about ready to snap your neck and they're smiling at the same time, like that was the look on his face. Like he was showing me his teeth, smiling, but everything else just basically said is, I'm going to pull your fucking throat out like MacGruber. And he came up and he's just like, hey buddy, what are you doing? And he was like looking through to the back of my head. And immediately I was just like, oh, then I didn't know what to say. And I was like, oh my God, what if he knew one of the people that died here? And then I was kind of, I was just, I'm a comedian, I'm in town, playing Teddy's House of Comedy, and just, then he fucking took my name, and then it dawned on me why they were coming up to me, and the whole thing just made sense, like, oh, this is like a military building built. This isn't the Jefferson Memorial. You're walking around one of the most top secret fucking places, and you're looking around, and you look like a crazy white guy, right? So then it just struck me as funny, and then I was trying to hold back a laugh, right? Classic white privilege here, right? I could actually have this guy come up to me outside the Pentagon, and I can still find the humor in it because I know I'm not going to get arrested, right? Is that what white privilege is? I don't know. I'm stuck in this wonderful fucking position. I'm just going to stare into that now, and people just say white privilege. I'll be like, oh yeah, it's unbelievable. Woo! Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, so the fucking guy, he's taking down my name, and then I kind of have like this shit-eating grin on my face because, at that point, they all kind of, because it was the guy who drove the Jeep, who was like fucking Tom Cruise in Taps. He just couldn't let it go, right? So I kind of feel him staring at me like a fucking lunatic, and I'm like, well, if this guy here with all this shit on his shirt, I can feel him letting me go. You're not going to arrest me, the driver of the Jeep. You join the military to be a fucking chauffeur? Go fuck yourself. So now the comic in me is starting to come up, and I want to irritate this guy, so I really start fucking smiling or what. I was like, yeah, man, sorry. I go, hey, man, you want to come out to the show? And blah, blah, blah. And the guy, he's kind of gone down from I'm going to fucking rip your throat out to kind of like, maybe I'll just, I don't know what, stick a bayonet in your side. He's kind of down to that. Is that less? I don't know. Whatever the fuck it is. I'll just waterboard you. His look of craziness is, I'm just going to waterboard you now. And I get to the end, and he's like, all right. And he gets in the Jeep, and the other guy was just staring fucking like daggers at me, the Jeep, and I was just looking right at him, smiling. And he goes, no, he goes, you're free to keep walking around this thing, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, nah, man, I'm cool. Like, I don't need anybody else driving up to me with a fucking Jeep. So they go to drive away. And as they were driving away, I remember the guy in the Jeep, the guy driving, like, yelled. I think he was trying to make me jump. Like, he drove away and just heard this, like that. And I didn't jump. And I just sort of, without, like, looking back, I just put my hand up and waved at him. And that's my fucking Pentagon story. So anyways.
Washington is a great town.
Yeah, a lot of culture. I'm going to the museums.
Are you really?
No. I sit in my room like I always do and watch movies.
You got to get out there.
No, you don't.
Experience the culture.
No. You never do.
I told you that time I went down there and I went to the Pentagon because I thought it was like the Lincoln Memorial that you could just walk around and look at it. So I started walking around the thing. You know,
I bet you were stopped.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, funny. I was like looking in a Jeeps like, oh, this is cool. I'm just walking around. All of a sudden.
What are you doing?
Well, it was right after, it was.
Don't say right after 9/11.
No, it was. It was 6 months after 9/11.
Oh, good one.
And they never really showed the footage where it hit. So I was just like, all right, I want to see this.
Yeah.
You know, so I start, you know. There was some people in uniform, other people were wearing like suits. So I don't know, it just didn't dawn on me. And I just started walking around, looked in a couple of Jeeps, and then I just started. And all of a sudden, this Jeep came flying out, and this guy gets out with like this red beret, and he's like smiling, but he's looking right through to the back of my skull. He's like, "Hey, buddy."
Hey, buddy.
He goes, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "Oh, you know, I'm just sort of just kind of walking around." And the guy goes, "Oh, yeah? That's not what I heard." And I was like, "Uh-oh."
That's not what I heard?
Yeah, I swear to God.
No.
He goes, "That's not how I heard." He goes, "I heard you were walking around looking in Jeeps, acting suspicious." And the reality was I was like, I wonder where the plane hit. Do I walk around this way or do I walk around that way? So I kind of did like a back and forth thing. And I was looking
Jeeps. Suspicious.
I was brutal. So I had to be like, and I couldn't say why I was there, you know?
Did they haul you in?
No, they started asking me questions, and I just said, "Look, I'm a comedian. I'm in town. I was working at this place, Teddy's House of Comedy, down there, and
Teddy's House of Comedy.
Welcome to Teddy's House of Comedy.
I don't understand about
that's
comedy
where my
club.
career was. That's where.
But
my
I don't
career
understand
was.
these comedy club owners. They can't come up with better names for their clubs.
Oh, they're terrible.
Teddy's House of Comedy.
That's not even a bad one. Laughter Hours.
Oh, oof. Laughter Hours.
Yeah, like New York Post headlines.
Yeah.
What is the name of it?
Puns.
All right, anyway, I don't want to get you off track. So
he just ends up taking down my name and whatever, starting some sort of file, I guess.
Oh, no.
And then I go, look, man, I didn't realize that this, now I'm really starting to think like, yeah, dude, this isn't a tourist attraction. This is where they plot out.
Wars.
This is where they plot out world domination.
Covert actions.
Yeah, like I was going to take a tour of it. I'm an idiot.
And you're peeking. You were peeking into things.
I was looking at the Jeeps like it was an exhibit. I'm surprised I didn't get in one and start, pretending I was driving. Like
this
moving.
Is great. Can someone take my picture?
Yeah, and perfect. Just white male, mid-30s. I mean, I just had everything that they were looking for. I was a psycho.
Some wacky militia guy.
So then I go, look, man, I was walking around, look at it. I go, all right, I'll leave. And the guy goes, no. He's like, you're free to walk around the whole thing if you want. And at that point I was so freaked out. Like, no, dude, I'm okay. And I walked away and I was kind of laughing. And then one other Marine all of a sudden just kind of yelled out. And he was trying to like scare me or whatever. And I was just,
He did that for his buddies. Like, watch this.
Yeah, you think the football players didn't do that in high school? I made noise.
No, my problem with Washington, D.C. is I'll go in front of the White House every time I go down there, and I get this urge to I'm not even kidding, to climb the fence to see what happens.
Well, that happens every so often.
I know, but I get that feeling like, why don't we just see what happens?
Same end result. You get tackled on the lawn.
Hopefully you get tackled and not shot.
Oh, yeah. Pre 9/11, that was a wacky frat stunt.
Right, yeah. Right.
Hey, what Opie did. See how far you get, man.
Yeah.
Before you get tackled by Secret Service.
I think I can make it to the front door.
Yeah, sure.
And all you got was like community service back then. Now it's like you get
prison, torture, Guantanamo.
Well, what is that? We all have it in our brains. Like, I get the urge to do that, but I don't. Like, I used to watch come into the city from Long Island and go see a lot of talk shows with my mom and my family. Like back in the day, Phil Donahue and Montel and the rest of them. And I would
Sally Jesse.
whatever they were giving free tickets out for. And I would sit in the audience and get the urge to just run onto the stage and tackle the host. And then I'm like, oh, my God, is anyone reading my brain? Do they realize what I'm thinking of doing right now? Like, I get all freaked out, and then I'm like, all right, calm down. No one knows. No one knows. Just enjoy the show.
Crazy people do it.
Right.
But
that's
you
the
just
difference.
think about it.
You think about it, but for some reason, you don't.
That's like when you. I think it's the same mentality like when you were in class and the teacher's like the next person who laughs, and then immediately you're just holding your nose.
Yeah, you're trying not to laugh.
Anything. It's even to this day, if someone said, you walk into a store and they'll have something there that says, "Please do not touch." You just have to go up.
I want to touch it.
You just got to take one finger and just
poke at it.
Yeah. Don't tell me what to do the second I come in your store.